Is it official?
Right now, you got 1 pound, 8 ounces ahead of Kobe Bill to speak on what was going on.
Family right there watching. My wife, my little girl Stormy, mom and dad.
2 pounds, 12 ounces.
My boys watching back home. Family, grandparents, love each and every one of you. Is it official?
Right now, you got 1 pound, 8 ounces ahead of Kobe Bill to speak on what was going on.
Thank you, Jesus. Oh, that's the Lord upstairs right there. That's all Him. I'm sorry, guys. I get to do it with my family here.
Put your hands together as he walks over and picks up his first trophy with Major League Fishing. Get loud for your B&W Trailer Hitches Stage 1 Conroe, presented by Power Pole champion Justin Cooper!
Okay, everybody, we interviewed him the other day. Now I get to interview, and I guess can call him a Bass Pro Tour champion on Major League Fishing. Is that still sort of trying to sink into you there, Justin Cooper?
It is. It's surreal. You know, we drove home last night, my wife and I. It's about 3 hours, and we made it home on adrenaline because we were still on our high. And that last about few minutes crossing that Pendleton Bridge and knowing home was right around the corner, it got a little tough. But we brought the trophy in, set it on the counter here, and just sat down and just stared at it for a little bit, and it started sinking in. And I got up this morning and did the same thing while I was trying to reply to texts and messages and everything. So it's starting to sink in, but not fully.
I'm curious, did you say text? How many text messages did you get? Don't count mine. How many did you get?
I don't know the number, but I will say my body had me up at 6 a.m. this morning, could not go back to sleep. And I just started about 6:10, and it took me just right at an hour to reply to each and every one of them. And that's just text messages.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So you had quite an event there at Lake Conroe. I'm guessing now Lake Conroe, because I've talked to you before about the lakes that you like in this country and you like the best. I got a funny feeling Lake Conroe, if it wasn't there near the top, it's going up there to the top.
It definitely jumped quite a few spots, that's for sure. That is not a tournament that I was I would say super excited for on our schedule when it first came out. Just knowing a little bit about the history and how it can be a tough fishery. I've never been there, but just kind of around that knowledge that I have heard from it, a little bit of research, that it wouldn't be a great event. And there's definitely a few others on this schedule that I'm looking forward to, or that I was looking forward to more than I was Conroe. But now Conroe holds a special place in my heart for sure.
Talk a little bit about, Friday. You put on quite a show on Friday. I think Friday you caught almost 100 pounds of fish, moved you up there in contention there. It got you to Saturday. Saturday, it seemed like each day it was a little bit more of a challenge to get the fish into the boat as the day went along. But though you stayed in contention there with it, when you got to Sunday, what were you thinking there when you were ready to, okay, we're starting off Sunday, everybody's on a level playing field once again. Did you have any expectations? Were you thinking that there'd be others in contention? What was going through your mind?
So I knew I was around the winning fish. After seeing what I saw Friday and Saturday, between my deeper fish that I had to utilize my forward-facing sonar on and the grass fish in the back of that cove, I knew I was around the winning fish. And I knew the only thing that probably wouldn't keep me from winning would be either one, tournament pressure, having to share and split fish with guys, or two, just me getting the bites and not able to put them in the boat. But like I said, I knew I was around him. If I could get the bites, put them in the boat, then we could be sitting here doing this right now.
I was watching off and on, and I was texting a friend of mine, you know him too, Joe Apogger there with Major League Fishing. I told him yesterday, I said, dude, I got to find me something else to go and do because I was getting stressed out watching this whole thing there. And I can't imagine because of what you were going through there too. But if I'm not mistaken, was it yesterday, the final day, Championship Sunday, that you were fishing there in a place right behind, was it a wall right there in that same area? You were like right behind him, and he was able to find some of the fish, and then you were struggling there just a little bit. And I know, like for me watching, I was getting a little bit concerned at that moment.
Yeah, for sure. We I found those fish at the end of the practice there, and the first day of the tournament, I did not go to them. I thought I had something a little better, and those fish actually vanished on me. So day two, I was like, well, let's go to backup plan. And I didn't realize how good backup plan was. So I pulled up there day two, and that's when I really made hay, had 72 pounds in the first day. And Jacob was close. And then we kind of had to work together throughout the remainder of that tournament and kind of share those fish. And it was just what kind of happened right there when he got back on the zone and I didn't. We were both catching them pretty good. And then they got smart to us. They cut off for a little bit. And I know in this game, you can't go too long without a bite. And if you do, you're getting behind the 8 ball. And I was like, well, I can't sit here too much longer and just basically, not get any bites because that's not going to increase my weight. So I got on the trolling motor and started trying to find a few. And I guess what happened when I kind of left that little 50-yard zone is those fish either come back to it right after I left or something, made the boat presence leaving, made them start to bite again. And Wall kind of did the same thing. He kind of got on the move and he went into that area where I was and was able to catch a few more fish. And for me to watch that, I was like, man, it was stressful. It was like, man, I just left. I could potentially just left a winning fish trying to relocate them, and I was not successful at that. So it was stressful all day, but definitely at the end of that first period, I was a little worried.
So after it's all over with, did you go back and see any of the video that Major League Fishing shot towards the very end? Because I'm in my garage doing work, and then I hear all of a sudden Colby catches a fish, and he was doubting the size of it. And then instantaneously, almost, it seems like you caught a fish that was smaller than his, but though they weighed his, he jumped ahead for a split second, weighed yours, you went right back ahead again. And I guess now we had maybe 30 seconds left after that, something like that. Did you watch any of that?
Yes, I went back and watched that countless times, and it's still just as shocking and surprising and all the emotions, just like I watched it the first time.
So let's talk a little bit about Colby Miller, because if I'm not mistaken, did I hear the commentator say correctly that he was in your wedding?
He was in my wife and I's wedding.
How long have you known him?
I've known him for, I would say, 8 years-ish. He was still, I was in college fishing and he was in high school fishing. That's how long we go back, and that's about that 9 years time frame. Man, to watch him grow as an angler from high school angler to, the amateur level and now to reach the Bass Pro Tour with me, man, it's special. He's a good dude. He's a great fisherman. He's really figured it out this past year or so, and expect big things from him.
I think a lot of people went into it, and, I was listening to the commentators on Saturday, and they got to the end of the day, and they were saying, now, who's going to be in contention out there with it? And, I guess they thought that Nick was going to come back on Sunday, and Nick had a tough day. They threw the name out there of Jacob Wheeler because it's Jacob Wheeler, period. And then I want to say they threw the name of Jacob Wall out there as well with it, with those three. Well, they got the Jacob Wall one right with it. But you and Colby were just like, hey, we're two Louisiana, we're the other two Louisiana boys. We're not gonna go and give this one up, and y'all didn't. It seemed like.
No, not at all. We fought to the bitter end, and if I had to go, one or two, and I'm glad it was with him. I would have been just as happy for him if he would have pulled it out right there in the last couple minutes. Of course, I would have been bummed, but excited for him at the same time because he deserves it, and he will get that win eventually. But glad it was me, and just blessed is an understatement.
You got quite emotional there at the end. I was watching it the first time. I think I put on my post and that kind of thing with it, and other people chimed in with me too. I said, I'm not going to say whether or not I shed a tear or not watching that there at the end. I mean, it was quite emotional. But what did it mean? And you don't have to get emotional with me right now. What did it mean for you to go back at it and have your family there with it? I mean, that there, as of right now, other than probably your marriage and your daughter and all that, is one of the top moments of your life, I guess, with your parents and grandparents.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, to pull off the win is special, but to do it with them and have them involved and actually be there in person made it all the more special. I couldn't do it without them. The support that they have given me, over the years, from my parents and my grandparents since I was, knee high to a grasshopper, and now my wife, she has traveled with me for the past few years and put up with my crazy self chasing this dream. She's seen me at my highest of highs and lowest of lows in the sport, and it's humbling. And she continues to provide words of encouragement that this is what I'm supposed to do, and to just keep grinding, and that I would get that win eventually. And she was right.
Yeah, it was truly something to watch there with you. Real quick for you there, what was the main technique in baits or whatever you were throwing in, the main technique you used?
So I utilized my forward-facing sonar, my Garmin live scope, in my first period of all 4 days. And I used one bait, and that's Bass Pro Shops XPS Rockin' Shad, and it's a minnow-style bait. They make a 4-inch and a 5-inch in several different colors. Color quite didn't seem to matter. I threw multiple different colors, honestly. But the 4-inch was key. The bait that they were chasing was small and around that 4-inch size. So matching the hatch is always what you want. Bass Pro, Johnny Moore's Signature Series and Platinum Series rods and reels worked flawlessly in that first period to really, really boost, my weights in those first periods. Really made hay while the sun shined. And then, in periods 2 and 3, I had to turn those forward-facing sonars off, put those spinning rods back in the rod box, and pull out bait casters. And I really utilized 3 different baits. I used a small lipless bait in a shad pattern that caught a lot of fish for me. I used a Bass Pro Shops XPS Chatter Bomb, which is their version of a bladed jig with a super shad on the back as the trailer, and then a swim worm with an Epic Tungsten 3/16 ounce weight. And that was really key. That bait there was really key in the knockout round when things got a little slower. The wind died down. It was super sunny, and they didn't want to bite a moving bait that had a lot of action like a vibrating jig or a lipless. So to use that bait to get a few extra bites really catapulted me into the championship round. And then those conditions got back good again. The wind picked up. It was blowing into the cove, into the grass where those fish were. And I was able to pick up my lipless and that chatter bomb and really take advantage of a lot of bites.
Getting a win like this, even regardless of the time of the season, but the beginning of the season might be really important. But getting a win like this for you, your first win there, what does that mean for you, for an angler in general? Getting that first win mean for you as far as, again, getting the attention of other potential sponsors? What does this mean?
It's huge. This could be the break in my career that I needed. I have great sponsors with me now. Bass Pro Shops, Ranger. Those are huge. Bass Pro Shops is my title sponsor for this year, and to have that backing from them is a blessing. To be a part of that brand is an honor, and I hope I made everybody there proud. It's funny. We were headed back to the watch party from the ramp, and I got a call from Mr. Johnny Morris himself to congratulate me on my win. So that was special to get a call from the man himself on that.
I was actually thinking about asking you that question or whatever to see if you actually did hear from Johnny himself on there. So
I did.
That's pretty cool. Have you talked to him before? I'm assuming. Or no?
I've met him at a couple of different events, but that was the first time on the phone.
Nice, because he's obviously with Bass Pro Shops huge in the outdoors. He's huge in other sports also as well, motorsports and dealing with NASCAR. So he really has his footprint out there and making sure name. And I mean, I just think it's so impressive that you've been able to go and get with him. So what does this mean as a whole, as I wrap this up with you, for Justin Cooper, your family? I know you, I mean, just your professional fishing, whether you are guiding people, what does this mean for you as a whole?
It proves to myself that I can do this, that I can hang with the Jacob Wheelers, the Dustin Connells, the guys that have been there multiple times, on that stage hoisting that trophy. Because I've had times where I've had doubts, where I have really tough tournaments, and it's a humbling sport. But to be able to pull out a win against those group of guys just proves myself that that's where I belong. And it really boosts my social media. The amount of followers and everything here recently in the past 24 hours has grown exponentially. I just hope I make everybody proud, my sponsors, my family, my friends. It means the world.
Well, no doubt about it. I mean, in my opinion and all, and like I said, I was texting, Joe there with Major League Fishing, and, I would want to see you up there, Nick up there, even Colby. I've not met Colby before, but though one of you three guys with y'all's local connections tie in there to it. But I'll also say that since you were up there in contention there with it too, I mean, I was pulling for you all along. I got to know you since last year whenever you fished the first tournament there on Toledo Bend. And I guess that was your first tournament on the Bass Pro Tour. And now what you've done as of now with it. So I've known you since then. I won't hold it against you since you told Joe that you've been watching me since you were a kid or whatever. That makes me feel old, but that's perfectly fine. But look, man, I'm so happy for you. Wish you the very, very best. What's the next tournament?
Harris Chain of Lakes, just in Florida, there north of Orlando. We leave. Practice starts a week from today, actually.
So you excited about that one too?
Excited. I've fished Harris Chain a few times before, had some success there, so ready to get down there and hopefully utilize some of the same baits that worked at Conroe.
Okay. Once again, congratulations, Justin Cooper, a Bass Pro Tour champion now on the MLF tour. I know it's going to be a little bit difficult to, you're still processing it, I bet.
Still processing it for sure.
Congratulations.
Thank you.